In Dubai, Tesla cars have been showing locations hundreds of kilometers away in the desert. Massive 300-meter-long ships standing in the Arabian Gulf are appearing on maps as if they are in the Arabian desert. Flights that are over Sharjah 1 second suddenly appear near the Oman border the next second. This is not a simple software glitch. It is the story of an unseen weapon being used in the conflicts of the Middle East, and its consequences could be far more dangerous than we imagine. In the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East, the conflict between Israel and Iran is no longer limited to missiles, drones, or traditional weapons. A new and largely invisible weapon has entered the battlefield, one that is causing problems not only for the military but also for ordinary civilians. This phenomenon is known as GPS spoofing or GPS jamming. Interestingly, the 1991 Gulf War was the first war in which GPS technology was used, and even today GPS has once again become a strategic weapon in modern conflicts. During the Gulf War in 1991, there were only 16 GPS satellites in orbit, and the technology was available only to the US military. At that time, Iraqi forces often lost their way in the desert. Meanwhile, American forces used GPS to move through the desert along routes that Iraqi forces had never even imagined. During dust storms, heavy fog, or the darkness of night, Iraqi troops struggled to operate effectively because they had no accurate sense of their location. On the other hand, American forces always knew exactly where they were, even at night or in severe weather conditions. This allowed them to launch missiles and bombs with remarkable precision and easily destroy Iraqi communication towers and bunkers. 35 years ago, GPS became a powerful tool of warfare. In 2026, the same technology has evolved into a new kind of weapon, but this time as an anti-GPS strategy. During conflicts involving Iran and Israel, the first signs of this were noticed when people in Dubai began observing strange behavior in Google Maps. Not only Google Maps, but Tesla vehicles, Uber rides, Careem services, and delivery riders all started showing incorrect locations. Instead of appearing in Dubai, they were displayed either in the Arabian Gulf or far away in the desert. Initially, people assumed it was just a software glitch. However, when analysts checked flight tracking platforms like Flight Radar 24, they discovered that air traffic locations were also shifting unexpectedly. For example, an Emirates flight arriving from Madrid to Dubai showed a brief location glitch near the UAE border. Similarly, a flight traveling from Sharjah to Egypt displayed irregular positioning. A Sharjah to Mumbai flight appeared at 3 different points in the Arabian Gulf before suddenly showing a zigzag flight path that would be impossible in reality. Air traffic was not the only system affected. Maritime tracking networks also became part of this confusion. Ships in the Arabian Gulf started showing incorrect locations. Some vessels appeared on land near the UAE-Saudi border in the desert. A ship that departed from Dubai Creek appeared to be located in the Al Ramla region of the UAE. Not only in the UAE but near Iran's coast, several ships appeared on tracking systems as if they were moving in circular patterns on land, something impossible for 300-meter-long ships, especially when they were actually at sea. After several days, analysts began to understand what was happening. Iranian drones and missile strikes were reportedly taking place in the region, and the GPS systems there were likely being altered. However, no military has officially confirmed this. Iranian Shah drones in particular rely heavily on GPS coordinates. If GPS signals in a region are manipulated, their targets can easily be missed. Over the past several days, such unusual GPS behavior has been reported not only in the UAE but also in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and across much of the Middle East. This raises an important question: how can GPS signals actually be altered? Many people find it difficult to believe that this is even possible. To understand this, we need to look at 2 separate concepts: GPS jamming and GPS spoofing. Seeing an incorrect location on a mobile phone might seem like a minor issue, but the potential consequences can be extremely serious. Before discussing the technical details, it is important to understand how GPS works. GPS, which stands for Global Positioning System, was originally developed in 1973 by the United States Department of Defense as a military project. The first GPS satellite was launched in 1978, and the full system became operational in 1995. Initially, the system was designed exclusively for military use. However, in 1983, after a Korean passenger aircraft was shot down due to navigation errors, the United States decided to make GPS available for civilian use worldwide. GPS works on a principle known as trilateration. In simple terms, satellites orbiting the Earth send radio signals containing extremely precise time information. When a mobile device receives these signals, it performs calculations to determine how long the signal took to reach it. Since radio signals travel at the speed of light, the device can calculate how far away the satellite is. For example, if a signal was sent at exactly 1:00 p.m. and reached the device 70 milliseconds later, it means the satellite is approximately 21,000 kilometers away. However, this only tells us the distance, not the exact position. Based on this distance, an imaginary circle is formed around the satellite. The device could be located anywhere along the edge of that circle, which can cover several countries. To determine a precise location, the device must receive signals from multiple satellites. When signals from a second satellite are received, another circle is formed, intersecting the first circle at 2 points. This means the device must be at one of those 2 points, but the exact position is still uncertain. When a third satellite signal is added, a third circle is formed. The point where all three circles intersect reveals the exact location of the device. The more satellite signals the device receives, the more accurate the location becomes. Currently, about 31 GPS satellites orbit the Earth. These satellites transmit signals on specific radio frequencies. For civilian use, the primary frequency is 1575 MHz. For military purposes, signals are transmitted at 1227 MHz, and advanced applications use frequencies around 1175 MHz. Because these signals travel from satellites approximately 20,000 kilometers away, they become very weak by the time they reach Earth. If someone on the ground sets up a powerful transmitter broadcasting signals on the same frequencies but at a much stronger power level, GPS receivers such as smartphones or navigation systems cannot distinguish between the real satellite signals and the fake ones. As a result, all GPS devices within that area may lose accurate positioning information. This is called GPS jamming. From a military perspective, GPS jamming has both advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that drones or GPS-guided missiles may fail to reach their intended targets. However, the disadvantage is that these weapons will still crash somewhere. That location could be an empty desert, or it could be a residential building. This is one reason why some drones reportedly end up striking civilian areas when GPS signals are disrupted. To solve this issue and make interference more controlled, another technique is used. Instead of simply sending noise on GPS frequencies, a transmitter sends signals that appear to be legitimate GPS signals, just like those from satellites. However, there is one critical difference. The time information in these signals is intentionally altered. Because these fake signals are transmitted from much closer to the receiver and are stronger than the signals coming from satellites, the receiver locks onto them. Even a timing difference of just 1 millisecond can cause the receiver to calculate a location hundreds of kilometers away from its real position. This technique is known as GPS spoofing. From a military standpoint, spoofing can be very useful. For example, if a drone is approaching a city, it can first be spoofed so that it believes its target is slightly to the left or right. When the drone changes direction toward what it believes is the correct target, often over the sea or a remote desert area, it can then be safely intercepted and destroyed. While GPS spoofing may be beneficial for military defense, it poses serious risks for civilians. Ride-hailing services or delivery apps failing to work is only a minor inconvenience. For aviation, however, GPS spoofing can be extremely dangerous. Pilots might believe their navigation systems are functioning correctly while the aircraft is actually drifting off course. Aircraft ground proximity warning systems rely on accurate position data. If spoofing causes the system to think the aircraft is somewhere else while a mountain lies ahead or below, the pilot might receive no warning. Similarly, spoofing could cause an aircraft to unintentionally enter restricted airspace. During takeoff or landing, incorrect positioning data could even lead to sudden turns or serious accidents. There is another hidden danger of GPS spoofing that could impact financial systems. Modern stock and cryptocurrency markets rely on high-frequency trading bots that make decisions in fractions of a second. Every transaction includes a timestamp showing exactly when a share was bought or sold. This precise timing often comes from GPS satellites because they carry some of the most accurate atomic clocks in the world. If spoofing alters even a single timestamp, the sequence of transactions recorded afterward could become incorrect. In extreme cases, this could disrupt trading systems and potentially trigger market instability or crashes. Just as GPS emerged as a powerful tool of warfare during the Gulf War in 1991, GPS spoofing is now emerging as a new strategic weapon in modern conflicts. This technique has already been observed in the Russia-Ukraine war and in conflicts involving Israel and Syria. However, one of the earliest and most dramatic demonstrations of GPS spoofing occurred in 2011 when Iran reportedly used the technique to capture a highly secret American drone, the RQ-170. Not only was the drone intercepted, but it was also landed safely inside Iran. In December 2011, the drone was conducting surveillance over Iranian territory after taking off from an American base in Afghanistan. Naturally, it was supposed to return to that base for landing. Iran reportedly manipulated the drone's GPS signals, making it believe that it was approaching its base in Afghanistan. In reality, the drone was still inside Iran. As a result, the drone believed it was landing at its home base, but instead it landed in Iranian territory. This incident served as a major wake-up call for the world, demonstrating how GPS spoofing could be weaponized in warfare. It proved that future wars may not be fought only with explosives and missiles, but also with invisible radio waves and data manipulation. In those conflicts, the side that understands and uses technology wisely, without becoming completely dependent on it, will have the advantage.